Blog Talk Radio.
We welcome the night.
Oasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. A brief moment, I would like to take this chance up front to apologize for my voice. I've been a little sick here recently, and with the weather and everything, I woke up with a sore throat. So, again, I apologize if I might have to stop occasionally to get a drink of water or cough or maybe even sneeze mid-conversation. So if I go quiet, I apologize. It's just been one of those weeks, and it's just been terrible. And with, again, winter storms and everything else going around and life in general, just having this on top of everything, and it's just sad. So I'm going to persevere through it, and hopefully we'll be able to do this review and give it justice like we've done all of our other reviews. Even though I've been sick before, numerous times before, we still give it our all. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, Ian. Ian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, despite the weather trying to turn me into a popsicle. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. It's pretty bad out there. And you snowed in, freeze to death, and what better way than to get than our movie tonight, where it just felt, we had this one planned out for a while, and it just felt like, yeah, we got to do this one. It's Christmas Eve, and what better way to kick off the holidays officially than to watch a novelty knockoff film. So here we are with our Christmas Horrors Marathon review of The Mean One, which is again, it's the Grinch horror movie, everybody. It's what the world's been needing, you know. So I guess we have to get into this one, Ian.
Yeah.
So I'll do a brief rundown because there's really no reason to do too much else because the film doesn't have too much else to offer. The film, we have Cindy, who is, again, it's been 20 years since she's been to Newville instead of Whoville, and she's going back. When she was a little girl, her mother was killed by a certain individual in a Santa's costume. And so it's been 20 years, and she's going back with her father there to look through the house and possibly sell it, maybe do some renovations, and who knows? Again, it doesn't matter at the end of it. And so the dad, he's festive, he's jolly, and he wants to put up Christmas because, again, the whole town of Newville doesn't celebrate Christmas. No lights, no music, no nothing. And, again, Cindy still, in the back of her mind, she still has that hint that the certain individuals there, that monster that killed her mother, she still has flashbacks and suffers trauma from what happened 20 years prior. And so she goes there. Her dad starts putting up trees, stockings, and she sees that certain Santa-wearing suit individual kill her father in front of her with a candy cane stuck through, basically goes through his head and the eyeball comes out the glass of the front door. And, again, that traumatizes her again. And so now she's trying to get the mayor, mainly the sheriff, to believe that there's something there that's killing people. And everyone thinks she's crazy, doesn't believe her, and she just goes on her own. And then she finds another individual that believes her, and they spark up a conversation. And then the deputy kind of starts falling for her, and then he starts believing her because she finds all this other stuff in the mountains. A little bit past Newville, and the big, mountains. Like they have a resort, not really a resort, but they want backpackers to come, and there's a little plot point that comes in later on through that film, part of the film. So again, it's fucking basic as shit, and that's awful because again, you have the idea. It's like Nutcracker Massacre, where like they have this idea and they just don't really do much with it. And with something like a novelty horror version of The Grinch, you need to have a little life, and this is just dull and lifeless and doesn't really do much. And it's just like they kind of squander it. It's a little bit better than Nutcracker Massacre. I mean, even though we do get to see a castration in Nutcracker Massacre, and it's actually sort of practical, as practical as one can get, it's still like there's nothing but like CGI, fake blood splashing on the screen, or whenever someone's getting stabbed, there's some terrible like decapitated heads where you can just see someone with a green screen blanket over top of them and just their head being displayed. And they don't really do much with the Grinch either, or aka the mean one. So I'm going to call him the Grinch. There's some mannerisms, and it's the same guy that plays Art the Clown, too, from Terrifier. So, and even then, again, I was getting more like, when I was watching this, because, again, like, you see a lot of similarities in other films, and like, you want to see it try to do something better. And this one, I was thinking of, again, Jim Carrey, his, over-the-top antics and everything that he did with The Grinch, but I was thinking of The Mask, and then, like, a few years ago, they made a film called You Might Be the Killer, and that's basically a horror version of The Mask, where, like, some dorky dude finds the mask, puts it on, and he starts slashing people. It was a pretty good movie. I actually liked You Might Be the Killer, because they did it sufficiently for what, for an idea like that, even though it's not technically, a mask novelty film, it still has the skin of it all, the anesthetic. And so this just felt like any other like Bigfoot Monster in the Woods movie with like a new green paint, and then he wrapped it in a Christmas paper, because it's just like something happened to somebody years ago. They have trauma. They go back. The threat comes back to them and starts killing them. Like making a. It just felt like a Bigfoot movie or some kind of monster creature movie in the woods, werewolf movie. or just like any cryptid, sort of movie like that. It just had all that flair with just with the current Grinch, and they don't do much with it, sadly. I mean, there's a few mannerisms here and there where he's crawling on his fingers, sneakily, and there's not even really that many fun kills, and they don't even make sense half the time. Like putting that one girl in the I don't even know what it was, but she exploded. Just okay. I mean, they couldn't even it's just it was lifeless, and it needed to be sort of fun for what they were wanting to do, because it's supposed to be this sort of campy, stupid, Grinch movie. And when the film last week, Christmas Bloody Christmas, is more overly violent and gory than your stupid knockoff film. I mean, that was more straightforward as well, and just they just really took this and just put dirt on it, and it was like a lump of coal, honestly. Literally, they stole Christmas. Well, Jesus, man, they just literally just cash grabbed this thing and tried their damnedest to do nothing with it, and it just felt, insufficient, and just I wouldn't say incomplete, but they kind of squandered it, again, with a lot of films here lately, with cool ideas. It wasn't terrible, and didn't, it made sense to the central plot of it, and they kind of had fun a few places, but it just felt unearned and not warranted, and just it just felt flat for what it was trying to do. And but yeah, Ian, I'll let you talk a while. I'm going to take a drink and rest my throat, and then we'll do the review.
All right. Well, for a movie that's supposed to be about the Grinch, I was expecting more over the top, and I don't know what I was expecting, honestly, but it wasn't what we got. That much I know. There was so much talking in the movie. I was just oh my God, this conversation is literally going nowhere. And just I don't know, a random dream sequence, and I don't know, it's just, the kind of ending was okay, but I don't know, nothing really stuck out to me the most. And which is weird, because this is a movie that should have plenty of things sticking out to you. But it just was just blasé.
Yeah, the novelty wears off really fast.
Yeah, it's I mean, I liked the way he looked. I thought it was I was I mean, it looks like the Grinch. And I was okay, I mean, but come on now, give me some cool deaths at least, some good cool deaths. Not what we got. I would have
literally they copied one from Nutcracker Massacre with the Christmas lights or the garland. The same thing. They hung somebody ooh boy.
I would have thrown them out up the chimney or something.
I would have had something his heart's so small that he eats other people's hearts to get again. It was there's all these ideas, because he's going around biting people too, right? And you couldn't have a scene where he's biting hearts, holiday cheer, just but no. I mean, it makes sense towards the end, the reason his heart exploded, but I don't know. Spoilers.
Yeah. But I mean, it was just and I was okay.
Yeah, it's very forgettable. It's it's literally one of the
I honestly think I will not remember this movie until somebody brings it up, or when I watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas. My wife watches it every single year, so I'll probably be oh, that was a horror movie, and I won't remember the name. There's just nothing memorable about this. And that's sad. You know, like, dude, and I get it, like, it just felt like they found a costume, and they're like, let's do this, and just did it all, like, really fast, because it felt like there was just no plot to it.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
like
well,
I said,
obviously,
it's just like a
yeah.
rinse and repeat, been there, done that before idea, but like a Grinch instead of a Bigfoot. Like, it's literally the same exact carbon copy. You know, you train, and then you want to trap the beast or something, and like you're in the house setting, and then you lure him in there and you fight him off. It's like Silver Bullet. You know, that's what they do in Silver Bullet. So it's the exact same fucking thing as that, but like the Grinch, and it's just like, again, bland.
I would have loved to see like a werewolf thing going on with it.
They needed to do
interesting.
something, because again, like, they kind of give hints that like it's actually Santa Claus, but like he accidentally killed his, like, the mother like freaked out or something and like tripped, and that's what caused something to happen, and then like he turned into the Grinch. You know, I was like, again, I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but it kind of felt that way. But then again, I'd like to bring up this other thing too, like military like experiment. Like I'd like to see something like that too, but they don't really. Again, it's just nothing really. It's like, oh, it's green thing.
Yeah, no, like I just wish they would have done something more with it. Like, you know, I would have loved to send like, you know, like a wisecracking one-liner killer. Like, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, would have been just like a run-of-the-mill, like, slasher, but, like, give him some kind of, like, wacky abilities or something. Like I said, you know, like, I would have loved to see him, like, toss somebody up the chimney, like, in The Grinch when he just throws that tree up there. Or something, like kill him in creative ways. I mean, fuck. Cupid had more unique deaths than this, and that was a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Again, when Nutcracker movie with someone getting their castrated, it's way has better kills than your freaking Grinch rip-off film. I mean, that's saying something. Again.
Yeah. I think
even
the only thing I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd much rather see the fucking weredeer and a little trampling on somebody, because at least it's kind of funny. Like, this one is just sad. Yeah. Because, like, they got all these ideas, and it's just, like, CGI blood all over the place, and it looked, like I said to you, it just looked like something, like, Uncorked would release and be on the shelf at $10 at Walmart. It just had that, that cheap feel.
Yeah, well, I actually thought, when I first heard about it, I thought it was an Uncorked movie, because that's like instantly what my brain went to.
Yeah, for all those Krampus films they released.
Oh, good Lord.
And the Elf.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than the Elf. But it's better than some of the Krampus movies. But still, it's just like, they just don't really do anything with it. It's just, again, just a cheap cash grab. And it like literally feels that way. Like, oh, we got this property now, and let's do this. And it's just like, it's just unwarranted, honestly. Even as a movie, it's the same carbon copy plot. It's just the same thing. You know, you've seen done before, but with like a Grinch costume. You know, instead of a Bigfoot, it's a Grinch. Instead of a werewolf, it's a Grinch. I mean, it's not fun, and it should be fun.
This should have been a straight to Tubi movie, like, honestly. And I've seen some pretty bad movies on Tubi, so.
Yeah, I watched the Terror Train remake. That was garbage. Like that. Why do you need to remake that film?
That and the Winnie the Pooh movie, which I still want to watch. But
we're going to review that, but I'm like, at least I think that's going to be okay, compared to this. I mean, like,
from what I've heard,
sort of has a plot to it, at least.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, everything I'm hearing about, they're actually, like, taking their time with this. This felt like it just came out of fucking nowhere, and I mean, like, I don't know what it is about this year. I guess, like, with the pandemic and stuff, people just wanted to make a bunch of fucking horror movies, and that's great. But, like, you know, I just want to know, like, what was so special about this Christmas that were like, let's just make a whole bunch of Christmas, movies, like horror movies. I'm not complaining, but it's just like, it just seemed like they all came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're plentiful. And,
yeah.
Again, it sucks. I mean, it's just not good. I mean, it's just like, I'm sure there's someone out there that'll have some fun with it in a stupid way, but it's like, it's not even that fun. It's just like, it's just dull and lifeless and doesn't have a heart. Literally, it doesn't have a heart.
That's what the like. Okay, so the lack of heart the movie had was actually a representation of the Grinch. Okay, and how hollow this Christmas season can be. Okay, let's just throw deeper meaning onto it.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I was expecting something, but I didn't have anything in particular of what I was expecting, but I know what we got wasn't it. And I was I'm not going to lie, I was kind of like looking forward to this just to see what it was going to be. And I think that's where a lot of my, like, is coming from was, like, I had much higher hopes for it. Like, not good hopes. Just, like, I was expecting it to be shitty, but, like, I at least thought it would be memorable shitty, not boring shitty.
Yeah.
And that's just, like, that's not something you should say for a movie like this. It really isn't. Like, it should be something better than that. But like you said, it was just a cheap cash grab, and it just felt like somebody found, like, all the makings for a costume for a Grinch, or somebody, like, went as the Grinch for Halloween and was like, ooh, I like your costume. Let's make a movie about it, and let's do it as fast as possible. No storyboards, just talking.
Yeah. No, they just went the cheap route. Like, they did the cheap basic idea of young kid trauma coming back into town. People think, the person's crazy. There's another crazy person. They team up. They find the creature in the woods or mountains, and then they come together to get another person involved that has some kind of relationship with the main character, and then they fight them off in the house. Just like, it's the same fucking the carbon copy of everything, some fucking creature movie. And, like, I know it. I've seen dozens of them. Like, we reviewed stuff like that before, and it's just like the same thing. And it's woohoo! There's the Grinch setting now. Like, it's Christmas. Like, it doesn't change the fact that it's still the same fucking thing we've seen numerous times before. But what we're saying, it's horror. Everything's been done to death. And, like, new coat of paint, someone's gonna think it's the greatest thing ever, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's still bad. It's lifeless. It doesn't have a heart, as we mentioned, and it's just, they needed to have more fun with it and not as straightforward. And again, we said that with Nutcracker Massacre, but at least we can remember, like, someone getting castrated. Like, there's literally nothing to remember with this one, sadly. There's nothing.
Yeah. I mean, even the final death was just nothing, like, extravagant. It was just and I was like, wait, what? And that was it. I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And but I don't know. I mean, when it comes to holiday movies, I don't really, like, I always feel like Halloween movies usually try a little bit more, other than like Christmas holidays or like, I mean, the Thanksgiving movie we watched this year was pretty good. We actually had 2 decent Thanksgiving movies, but like, I don't know. I've been thinking about, with our 10-year coming up, which is wild to me. I've just been reflecting on it, and I was like, I think my favorite holiday movie that we've reviewed was that one where it turned into aliens at the end. Like, they were given like instructions.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like, I think one of my favorites.
That was actually.
But like, yeah, I think about it all the time actually. And it was a simple idea. And that's like the perfect example of like, you can do a lot with less.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it's just, I don't know. I'm just kind of mad, honestly, because like I've been looking forward to the mean one since I first found out about it. I was like, ooh, this is going to be like bad in a bad way, but like at least I was hoping for something memorable, or like something that I'll just think about.
This is going to be like that one we reviewed called Killer Christmas, where like the kids go to that warehouse or that building, and like that one kid's like somehow teleports from room to room and kills all his friends, and it's just like there's like nothing memorable about that film except for the way he like transports everywhere. Yeah, he's with one person, yet he's killing another person at the same time. Like, how is this possible? It's just like it's just going to be like that one. Just
yeah, and that one doll movie that did that too. Yeah, no, I actually forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
And
I'll say that the mean one's better than that, and I think it's better than A Christmas Presents a little, because like this one's so straightforward, even though I like that one character. Yeah, I'm bringing up Christmas Presents a lot, but it's just like we've watched so many bad movies, and just like we have to compare it to, like, it's not as bad as this
we
one.
have to compare how
one.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
it's one with all
no
the possessed
Krampus
toys.
Origins, but or anything like that, but still, it's like, it's just middle of the road. It's just going to be forgettable. It's just going to be like, oh yeah, we watched that, and then like we mentioned last week, like a few years later down the line, like, oh yeah, it sort of reminded me of that, and like, oh yeah, but yeah.
God, yeah, and it's always nice when we actually get a movie that sticks with us, even if we haven't like watched it or thought about it in years. Like, but, and of course, not all movies are going to be perfect. They're all going to have their faults. But
but there's always something that should stand out. There's nothing with this one.
Exactly. And we, and we've reviewed like movies way worse than this that have more memorable scenes. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I think about the Easter Day shit. Like, that shit was ingrained into my head. But that movie was awful. But yet, it's just like, it's theirs. Like, at least be bad in a way that's memorable. Not just bad in a way that's boring.
You brought up the Easter stuff. It's that Easter bloodbath, or Easter, the one where like he's in the house in the woods, remember, and then he wears the killing off his friends. It's sort of like that, or the one where they're in the storage unit and he's in the rabbit outfit, and just like it's just those like basic nothing films. That's like the Grinch is. It's like he's in a Grinch outfit now, and so Easter outfit.
Yeah, no, like it's it's what it is. I mean, and it seems like we're getting a lot of those lately. I mean, like, I remember back when we first started, that one year where literally like, I mean, obviously this was like before Tubi, and when things were a little bit harder to get a hold of, other than like, you know, sharing sites and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, there was just nothing for a whole season, not even around Halloween. And, you know, and I think people took us, like, just, you know, just make stuff to make stuff. And I think people took that to heart. And was just like, let's just make whatever. And I'm like, now we're just like, like pump the brakes a little bit.
Drowning in mediocrity. Like,
yeah, I would rather you take a minute to, like, collect your thoughts and run by the storyboard and make sure it's good before you put it out. Then, like, I would rather wait for a movie than just pump it out this year. Like, I mean, and hell, even Louisa films are, like, most of them are memorable.
Yeah, in the worst ways possible.
Exactly.
They're memorable.
I mean, at least we think about, like, they're so bad, and she pumps out so much that we have, like, someone that we actually, like, focus on now. And this is just, it's just like nothing, and it just sucks.
Yeah.
I would give it, like, I think that's just, like
again, if the kills were fun or interesting, or he did something better with it. I mean, there's that whole scene in the bar with all the people in Santa outfits and the elf and the tree, and, like, he doesn't even do anything with that. He literally just takes a cane and sticks it through, like, a guy in a tree suit, you know, one of those inflatable tree outfits. And, like, you don't see anything. It's sort of off screen. And then, like they couldn't do anything fun, like skin a person and lay their skin on top of a tree or something, you know? Like use the tree that is the person, like lay skin or eyeballs all over, or do something fun like that. Like, make him actually fucking mean. He doesn't even seem mean. That's the thing. Like, he doesn't seem that way. Like, the title doesn't do the film any justice. I mean, they have to get around that, yeah, but, like, at least do something with it. Like, make it, you know, at least like the last week's film, you know, he fucking chucked a fucking headless kid through a window, like, Jesus fucking Christ, you know?
Yeah, that movie was just mean and fun. I mean, it was a fun movie because, like, you know, it was a robot fucking Santa, and that was definitely a cash grab. And it was just like, let's just combine Terminator with Santa, and let's just have him go on a fucking murder spree. And let's not even give him let's give his backstory as quick as possible. And it was a very good way. Like, it was just fun. That was a fun, bad movie. And I know, and I mean, earlier today, my wife and I she was watching the Polar Express, and then I was just like, after she was done, she was like, we were looking, and I saw Gremlins pop up, and I was like, that's a good Christmas movie. And she's never seen it. And that movie wasn't great, but it was memorable. Mm-hmm. And it's one of my favorites. And, you know, it was just like little puppets, and they were shitty. And that was fun. You know, you can do things with nothing and still come up with something memorable. And I don't know. I just really wish they would have done something different.
Yeah. It's just tame for what it tries to accomplish. And I didn't care that much for it. As we've mentioned before, it's pretty forgettable, and it's really not worth the time. I mean, it's going to be there. That novelty is going to be there, like a Sharknado movie. You know, like, people are going to see it. You know, like with the killer, you know, the Bambi horror movie coming out, people's going to see it. The Winnie the Pooh horror movie, people's going to see it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
I thought the Bambi thing was a lie because I saw it from a site called We Got This Covered, and they're, like, notorious for being wrong. They just, like, they pass off internet rumors as truth. So I thought that was a fake thing. So I'm kind of excited about that. But now with this, The Grinch, I'm kind of like, I'm not setting my hopes up any higher than this movie.
Yeah.
Because then at least, if it's
honestly,
better.
Ian, how are they going to top Werdeer for fucking people getting trampled? They can't top the greatness of Werdeer. I'm prancing on top of this person. No one's going to get that besides us, but here we are in our fucking little circle.
Or that, that reindeer movie where the guy accidentally killed the reindeer, and the other one took revenge.
I think that was all creatures were stirring or something. I think.
Yeah, it was. I knew it was an anthology thing.
Yeah.
And it was from the perspective of the deer.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was fun. See, I'm remembering shit like that, and that was like a short
anthology, because that anthology was shit.
It really was. That's the only thing I remember from it. Like, almost to the point where I feel like it was its own entity.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like short. You know, it's like people saying A Christmas Horror Story is actually good when, like, it's not. It's the most mundane shit with two stories, and you have to watch through the whole fucking thing to watch the zombie elves, and, like, the only good thing about the fucking film. And, like, oh, my God, it's so great. Like, no, it's not. It's the zombie elves
I like
good.
I like the one where it was all told as a play. And it, like, goes into...
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the wraparound. But not much else.
Yeah, because he's just, like, sitting there, like, all, like looking around, like, what the hell is this? You know, because they're just, the way the plays is. And
yeah. I like the setup of that one. But, you know, there's just certain things that just stick out, especially when it comes to holiday horror movies. And it just seems like, I mean, obviously nowadays anybody has access to make anything they want. Like, anybody can make a movie with their cell phones now. So it's like, you know,
even an 8-year-old.
Everybody's just compete. Yeah, even an 8-year-old. And the 8-year-old, I honestly, I mean, like, content-wise, no, but memorability, 8-Ball is more memorable.
I mean, we're gonna we're gonna be fucking talking about cocaine, heroin babies, and fucking leprechauns coming down on motor chairs, and we're just gonna be fucking in a world, Ian, where those things exist.
He's gonna be like 20 years old, and we're still gonna be talking about his movie.
Yeah, like we're the only one. Like, well, I got 2 fans. Yeah.
I mean, they talk shit about it all the time, but they're fans because at this point.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is, you know. And
it's
we're
the
not
genre,
like
man.
everything.
You have to appreciate it for what it gives you. And, like, it gives us some shit. But sometimes those shit nuggets has a piece of corn in it. Like, well, at least the corn survived.
Right. And, you know, I try to, you know.
And that one piece of corn is a representation of our sanity. It's like there's that little strand of hope in our in that piece of corn, in that pile of shit. You know, like somehow it survived my, you know, digestive system and clumped up with all the shit. But I'm still rocking, you know.
Well, you know, maybe the next movie will be a good one.
Yeah, that's gonna do next week when we finish off our Christmas Horrors marathon. I got an idea. Hopefully it's better. Hopefully we're gonna end this with hopefully something interesting. Again, interesting. Always interesting, and then we get fucking mean one. But Ian, as always, it's always great to talk with you, especially when, you know, again, talking with you, doing these reviews, even if I feel down and out, it just makes my spirits a little higher, and that's what I need when you're down and not feeling too good, and your voice is all fucked up, and your sinuses are just stuffy, and your nose is dripping, and just all the terrible things. You're snowed in, it's freezing out. Even though I like cold weather, it's just like you can't do anything, and you're stuck. And what's the best thing to do? Watch a stupid horror movie about a killer Grinch and talk about it with your best friend. So that's what we're doing.
Right.
And
and I have to walk out in the weather tomorrow.
Oh boy, fun times. But I'm going to go ahead and call it in. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and thanks everyone for listening in. Everyone listening, be safe. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy our review of the Mean One and our little friendly banter back and forth at the end here, because we always go back and forth on banter. It's just what we do. We love it. And again, we talk once a week over the phones here, and we just have fun doing it. And again, almost 10 years we've been doing this, so it's crazy.
I didn't even realize that until
it's been fun. Again, we've watched a lot of stuff. We've reviewed a lot of stuff. Talked to a lot of people, and it's been fun, and I'm always interested into the next year whenever it comes up and where the show goes on from there. And again, Ian, you take care of yourself and your family, and everyone listening, you do the same. And thank you everyone for listening, and we will see you next week when we close out our Christmas Horrors Marathon here on Horror Night Oasis.
Good night.
Touch your skin.